Another day, another $100 trading, shorting AMC. What's going on, guys? Welcome on into today's trade recap. We are looking at an AMC short, which was made about $103 or $102.58 to be exact. And we're going to get into the recap here. Pretty straightforward. It's actually kind of similar to yesterday's trade recap. If I posted yesterday, or whatever the last trade recap, whenever that was posted, this is a very similar trade. We are really just looking at AMC. Here's the trade. Very simple. Watching it pre-market, we kind of came down to this 580 area a couple of times and had this nice consolidation here. This also just so happens to be pretty much the same exact area that was yesterday's low. So you pair up an area that we were finding support with pressure to the downside going into that support. Also happens to be yesterday's low. Once we broke that low, I ended up getting in somewhere in the 550s area, actually 551 to be exact. So I did not get a perfect by any means entry here. I did give it like an extra minute or two, or more than a minute or two, like an extra 5 minutes to truly show me. And it stayed weak, had pressure. I confirmed with volume. And then all I did was move or put my stop, not move. When I entered the order, I had to stop and take profit. I was targeting around $5, so I targeted 503 because just in case we didn't hit 5 and it bounced. Ended up going through that level by a good margin, so it didn't really matter. But I targeted 503 and I stopped out over the high of this candle right here. So once we broke down, we kind of retraced a little bit back to like 579. So I put my stop loss around 580, 581, and then I just let it go. And it took about, this actually was a little more interesting. It took longer than I thought. Well, no, I wouldn't say longer than I thought. It didn't take very long. But this right here was a halt down. So you're looking like, whoa, how did the candle close here and then the next candle opens here? Well, because AMC dropped so much so fast that they actually halted the stock down. And then after the halt down, we had a kind of a bounce back up, which failed to kind of gain momentum enough to push up over my stop loss or that key level, really, and then rolled over and eventually pushed down. I'm not super surprised by that. I was a little bit worried about the halts, and I was like, again, this is why I didn't size very, very large on the past two trades because we're trading a stock that can halt up and down. So these were kind of just like, I don't want to say they were boredom trades. Like they were very valid trades. And I'm going to sit here and say, like, if I had watched AMC this week, do what it did and then retrace back down inside of $5 and kind of knowing like the realities of the pressure on stocks that were prior short squeezes that get that resurgence and then start to come back down. And when backside establishes, I don't want to say it's easy money, but it's like very high probability trades in my view on the downside when you get these consolidation breaks. And so if I saw this happen this week, I would kind of be a little disappointed that I didn't partake. And so all I had to do was find a setup that fit my criteria. And yesterday we had one right here on this blue line. And then today we had one right here on this line. And at this point in time, there's a pretty good chance that I won't be trading AMC anymore. I mean, obviously there's still room to come back down towards where it was prior to the big spike, but the opportunity becomes smaller and smaller in terms of reward for what you maybe have to risk with the potential that these things could spike up. But again, you have those halts up and halts down. In this case, we had a halt down, and that did kind of, momentarily for about 10 minutes pause our downside momentum. But then we rolled back over and pressure was still there, which I'm not super surprised. The problem that you could have, though, is that if this does occur, you could end up in a situation where you have a downside halt, which then kills the momentum to the downside, and then the thing snaps right back, and then now it's back up, and it could stop you out. And then there's just kind of this fine line in this little game you got to play. So you got to be careful with that. That's why, again, I didn't want to size in very large, but I risked about $60 to make, in this case, 102. So just shy of a 2-to-1 risk reward, which in my view was good, very good, felt fine. I didn't really, to be honest, I'm looking around, I didn't really like a lot of other stuff that I was seeing, so I'm happy with it and I'm not going to complain. This was a bear flag setup. I'm just going to log this here in TradeZella, and we're playing on the 5-minute time frame, which I've been taking more 5-minute chart setups than I thought as of late, but they've been kind of working. So I'm not gonna, if I see them, I'm gonna take them. I still have a bias towards wanting to play the bigger time frames, but when you get a little opportunity, you take advantage. I'll leave some links and all that stuff down below to TradeZilla, where I track, journal, and log all this stuff. On the month so far, we're up $925 in realized gains. We actually are up probably over $1,000 in unrealized, or I guess $925 in realized and like another 100 something in unrealized. But I have an open position that I'm still in, so nothing to talk about yet until I close it out. But so far, we are on a really good win rate streak. 10-3 for the month, which is really good in my view. But at the same time, you know, the past 2 months and you see my win rate was in the 40s, maybe in the low 40s for those 2 months. So, you know, it evens out. You know, that's all it really is. That's the trade recap. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.